is the one I'm supposed to click. Got it. And meeting is now live streaming on custom live streaming service. Can you double check me, Leo, to see if we are? Ah, there we are. I think maybe we are. Well, there's a delay.
Yeah.
There is a delay.
Tends to happen. Oh,
There's always a delay.
Here we go.
Always a delay.
We're good though.
All right. How do we spotlight? If I hit spotlight for everyone, then I'm spotlighting us, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. There we go. All right. Now we've got it. Cool. All right. Leo, tell me if we're running. We're supposed to be running.
We're running.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. All righty. We are on. We're live. I think we got it right this go around. So welcome everybody. And some questions to throw out real quick. Was Wi-Fi invented by a movie actress 55 years ahead of its time? Can organized crime laws be used to overcome copycats? And what happens if you can generate electricity out of thin air? Well, we'll be talking about those subjects and more tonight. And welcome to Inventor Friday. I'm Don Skaggs, kind of the chief cook and bottle washer around here. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching the live stream. Thank you for being the Inner Circle group that's with us and joined on Zoom. And we're really glad you're here. And with me are several guests. And let's just kind of go around the room here. We'll start with Leo.
Hey,
Leo.
everyone.
Everybody knows who Leo is and what he does. And we've also got with us Nick Gilbert. Nick, tell us who you are, what you do, what you're all about.
I'm Nicholas Gilbert. My company is Gen Evolutions LLC. We've got a patent on a spring engine turbine. It's basically just an electric generator that's wound up and unwinds. It creates electricity. You can check us out on ecomake1.com.
Very cool. What else do you do?
Well, we also, as a side hustle, we own Hilltop Cricket Farm. So we sell crickets to the pet food industry, and some people actually in the edible industry, they eat the crickets. So, that's what we do for side hustle.
Very cool. Tarantulas, people, and
eco owners and all the other.
All the way around. All right. Well, also with me is Daniel Cameron. Daniel, tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Daniel Cameron, not to be confused with the Attorney General. I've been getting that a lot lately.
No, it's happening.
I walk into a bar, people do a double take. Like,
I used to joke with you all the time about that, and now it's like everybody else.
And now that he's on the news, every day. Yeah, get very confused. But anyway, yeah. So I'm
running for
not
governor, Daniel.
That's not me. That's somebody else. But yeah, so I'm president of Lexalon. We're a design firm in Lexington. So we do product development and design. I'm an electronics engineer. We work with some software developers as well, so we can handle developing various software and electronic gadgets and gizmos and mechanical design. And in my spare time, when I'm not too busy with that, we try to do some of our own projects too. So we've been, trying to be entrepreneur ourselves, but lately we've been so busy that haven't really had much time for that. So
cool. Well, that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, better than the opposite problem of sitting around and twiddling your thumbs. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, cool. All right. Well, tell you what, and as you can probably already tell, I am doing my own camera switching today. So if you know an intern in the Lexington, Kentucky area, please send them our way. We would love to have someone help us with camera switching. But anyway, I do want to kind of talk about one of our sponsors. We are broadcasting live from our, let me find it. There it is. From our Total Health Work studio. And what is Total Health Works? Well, Total Health Works is Bennett Gatto, which is one of our own inventors. He actually was telling the story earlier with someone today. He came to us with I think it was Post-it notes and a laser pointer when he was first started out. Well, he has built a whole platform, and it uses online brain and body training. It's specifically helps it helps anyone really. If you're getting older and you're kind of you've had a few of the one more moment than you wanted, where you wandered into a room and wonder why you wandered in there. Well, this helps you with your memory, but what it does by also making you healthy, and it combines exercise, cognitive exercise, physical exercise. But it really does help people that are having neurological conditions like Parkinson's and MS, Alzheimer's. And so if it's helping those people, it would certainly help you as well. So if you go to totalhealthworks.com, you can get involved or sign up for a free class, or just help support them as well. So anyway, that's again one of our own, and we're just really, really glad that we're working with Bennett on this, and that he's doing as well as he is, and that we get to use this building. Really, really, really nice. So all right. We also have some upcoming meetings next month. This is our last meeting of August, last one for the summer. But now next week, if you are interested and want to go to, this is not our last meeting of the week. We have a workshop next week, which this is why Leo is here to remind me of things that I completely forget. Next week we're having our workshop. Now that's for members only. You can go to kyinventors.org. That's our website, and become a member if you're not a member. And that gets you access into the workshop. The workshop, we all work under a closed non-disclosure agreement. So it's members only. We're very insular. We go in the room. We actually go around the room. We get to introduce everybody. Then we go around the room again, and everybody gets to talk about, this is what I have. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm stuck. And instead of getting one person's idea or opinion, you get an entire room full of people. It kind of turns into a brainstorming session on steroids. There's really nothing like it. If you've been there, you already know what I'm talking about, because the energy in the rooms is very, very high. And so to join us for that, you got to become a member, and you can do that again at our website, kyinventors.org. So we've got that coming up next week is our workshop, monthly workshop. And then later that week on Thursday, I'm going to be speaking at the Michigan Inventors Expo, and that's in Lansing, Michigan. You can still sign up for that. I know we've got one person in the Inner Circle Zoom group here tonight. That's I'm going to get to meet him and his cool inventions. He's actually going to have 2 booths. And so we'll get to meet him, and it's going to be just a fantastic opportunity. I did it last year, and it was so good to see people back, and kind of just, people back in person and meeting face to face. And all this cyber stuff is good. Hey, this is why we're doing what we're doing now. But when you still get the chance to go in person and see people, it's really pretty amazing. So people are coming back to trade shows, by the way. I'm seeing it all over, and I'm really, really happy about that. So we've got a lot of other opportunities. Going to have a bunch of opportunities in September. If you hang with us for a while, I will let out a little detail on what's going on next month and who we're having. So anyway, with that, I'm going to jump into today in history, or today in inventing history. Well, it's more like this month, I think, in inventing history. I want to say today, but sometimes we hit it pretty close. This month, actually, Wi-Fi. So this was and if you don't know who Hedy Lamarr is, Hedy Lamarr was a famous kind of a actress, famous Hollywood icon, they called her, and so she actually came up with a device to help that I guess it was an early version of frequency hopping, and it was used actually for World War II. But it's actually, that is what made GPS and Bluetooth and Wi-Fi actually possible. So what originally was built on that became that. So that's just kind of a pretty cool thing that she came up with that.
Yeah, didn't hurt that she was drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, she had a reputation as a party girl. I heard somebody on one occasion, this was a long time ago, so it's a little dated, but their point of comparison for it was, imagine if Paris Hilton invented faster than light travel. That's yeah, she was not associated with, you know, engineering circles. She was associated with gin joints and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me like the importance of, like, you know, interdisciplinary thinking. So like a lot of times the best ideas come out of, you know, when you're putting yourself in a situation that might be out of your, you know, domain of expertise, or you're mixing your ideas with somebody else that, you know, has different experiences from you, and those different experiences coming together is what generates cool ideas a lot of the time. So
That's true. You know, sometimes they come from just the strangest places, and just having that. If you've ever gone into an industry, and maybe Daniel, maybe you know this better than we do, where you go into a certain industry and you've got all the engineers in there, and they're all thinking one way because that's all they know. It's just like, oh, this is the way we've always done.
yeah, sometimes you can be like too close to a problem.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I think that's a common brainstorming strategy is like, okay, let's pause for a minute and zoom out to, you know, 30,000 feet,
Right.
and kind of look at this a different angle. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same way, like, you know, I'm stumped on a problem all the time, and I'll go to sleep and then wake up the next day. And so my brain is doing that same thing. It's doing that, you know, that brainstorming tactic of zooming out and processing memories and combining like things in different ways. And usually in the morning, you know, somehow my subconscious has kicked in and I've solved it. So
it's funny how that you almost have to trick yourself, I guess, into doing that.
And you hear so many like inventors and, you know, people talk about this. So it's not unique to me or, you know, anyone really. This is a universal experience.
I call it the shower thought phenomenon. But
Yeah. Okay.
That's true. That's why your best ideas come in the shower. You're not really thinking about it.
exactly. Yeah,
That's
you're
when
on
you think about
autopilot.
Did she have something to do with the torpedoes?
Yeah, if I remember right, and I could be misremembering, but the main reason why she came up with this technology in the first place was it had something to do with either determining where enemy weapons were programmed, or the opposite, preventing the enemy from knowing the programming of their weapons, which I think it was torpedoes.
Wow.
Yeah, like zeroing in on the location, in other words, finding the point of origin. In some ways, that's kind of weird to think about it, but it's kind of like VPN for torpedoes.
I think that article that you kind of flashed up on the screen, Don, it may have something in there about that.
Well, let me go back to that.
I mean, I know frequency hopping is, you know, used all over the place.
Here we go. It was circumventing the jamming tactics. Okay, so preventing extra powers.
If you're moving around, you can't really. It's like what's the superhero? You let them move so fast you can't really pin them down.
Which superhero?
I don't know, most of them, I
Would
guess.
that be the Flash? Okay. I figured one of us in this room would actually know that.
Don, you do you know, when you guys do the movie night,
Yeah, we're not doing the Flash.
Well,
it might be interesting to see if there's some kind of documentary or something on her that might be real interesting to watch.
yeah, it is funny that you should mention that. We will. There is one out. I have not reviewed it yet, and usually I like to review these before, because sometimes they'll be they'll have a lot of really good lessons. I'll tell you, one we do all the time, Inventor and Entrepreneur Night at the Movies, we do something called, we did one called The Founder, and had a lot of things where we could stop the action and say, okay, what was he going through and what was all that? Another good one was jobs. There is one out on Hedy Lamarr. I think it's not been out long. I've not seen it yet, but I'm planning to review it. And if it cuts the mustard as far as being a good learning tool for inventors and entrepreneurs, stay tuned. So hopefully that'll be upcoming and pretty cool when it gets here. So
did she file a patent on this
yes,
idea?
Actually,
and so did she end up collecting any royalties from it, or did it not work out that way?
Let's see. Let me.
I don't know.
She was
feel
well
like
to do as far as that.
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, I think she did have a patent on
Yeah.
it, though.
If she didn't capitalize on it, it wouldn't hurt for money.
And it says documentary, Netflix, YouTube, PBS. So obviously there is some stuff on it, a documentary.
Good deal.
All right. Good deal. Well, I've lost my oh, there it is. Just didn't see it. Okay. Yeah, there it is. There's the actual patent right there, folks. So we can't see it, but you can everybody online can see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was actual patent number 2292387. When was it filed? I'm not seeing. 1942. No, 1941 was filed.
Wow.
So,
She
yeah.
only died in 2002, so that's quite a life.
Yeah. Isn't that wild? That is just wild.
On YouTube, there's two of them, Beyond the Beauty. It's a Jerry Skinner documentary on her. And there's also,
Bombshell.
that's only 24 minutes. Then the other one is Bombshell, the Hedy Lamarr story. That's an hour and a half.
I figure that's the one Don was referring to.
Yeah, I think that might be it. So that kind of begs the question, though. Can inventors and innovations come from any walk of life? Do you have to be an expert in I kind of believe that, it does make it easier sometimes. If you're a barber, then you come up with a barber product, then it might be easy because you just know that world a little better. But is that a have-to thing, you guys think? What do y'all think?
I think anybody can come up with an idea by observing, maybe a process or something like that.
Yeah.
I've done it for another company.
Yeah.
Remember, I just came up with that one company that they hired me to come troubleshoot their problems in their motors on their fudge kettles. Remember that?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't make fudge for a living.
I think that's one of the reasons why promoting a diverse array of voices and backgrounds and walks of life, ultimately, we all benefit from that, because you never know where the next amazing idea is going to come from. You never know what background of the individual who came up with it, what all ingredients in their life ultimately led to that breakthrough.
Well,
That's
actually,
true, because let's hold off, Dan. Let's hold off on that. Dan, if you've got anything else, let's have you put it in the chat, okay? Since we're on live stream. But let me ask Nick. Nick, what do you think? Do you think you can, do you have to be in a certain field to come up with some innovation?
I mean, I wouldn't not.
You didn't, did you? Were you?
No, it was actually an accident. I mean, how my came to be was a complete,
Cameras.
I guess maybe like a destiny type, scenario where I was in with a clockmaker and would go and pay him a visit every time I visit my Aunt Mary in Gravel Switch, Kentucky. And then I'd stop by and see.
Let me stop you right there. Gravel Switch, Kentucky. Just for those of us out there that's not from Kentucky,
Right.
but I knew where it was.
Yeah. I would stop in and chat with him, and he had some intricate tools that he would make little gears and stuff for these antique brass, gearing and stuff for these antique clocks and stuff. And I just thought it was pretty fascinating. And sadly, when he passed away, he thought of me and gave me this humongous tote of antique gears and springs and cogs and
Wow.
all kinds of cool stuff. And the actual piece that you'll see on our website was the piece that he'd stopped working on, or maybe hadn't got to yet, because when I got messing with it, it was kind of spring bound and it wouldn't wind up anymore. So it was kind of locked up. So I traced the movement back to this little teeter-totter timer piece at the top, and the little bar was bent, and which put it in a bind. And so I took a little screwdriver and just flicked it out of there. And when I did, of course, it started unspooling from that spring. And it was spinning really fast up here and really slow down at the wind. And I wound it up 2 or 3 more times, and just looked at it like a fidget toy.
Yeah.
And then it just hit me like out of
Epiphany.
nowhere, just eureka. I was like, wait a minute, can I put a generator on the top sprocket and generate electricity just off that spring energy? And so I immediately went to Hobby Lobby and bought a little windmill kit for kids, and I outfitted it on this, gearbox piece, and it came on, and we were like, wow. We built a bigger one, So we went to work, and built a bigger one. But as far as being in a particular field, I was a carpenter, I thought that I'd invented some stuff along the way that already been invented, carpentry, but it, like I say, it was just right time, right place for me. And I just seen it happen and just ran with it.
So you didn't have to be an electrical engineer to come up with a really cool innovation for
think outside the box a little bit.
Yep. Is there anything about the EchoMech or what? No, well, that's not what we're calling it anymore. We've gone through a brand name.
Yeah, we went to a brand name change. It's actually going to be SET. It stands for Spring Engine Turbine.
Spring Engine Turbine. I like that name.
Yep. It'll be easy to remember. So springeng.com, I think, will be our new website domain.
Cool.
As of right now, it's ecomech1.com, just because it was eco-mechanical.
Right.
But yeah, we're going through a branding change, and
Cool.
It's anybody can invent. You just got to kind of open your mind up to it and just be accepting to new technologies, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, accepting and curious. I think one of the most important things is just to be a curious person to to make those connections across different industries. And I guess you meet somebody on the street, and if you're curious about what that random person is doing, then you might learn something.
That's true. A lot of times I will I'm trying to chew gum and walk again. Sorry, guys. A lot of times I'll go to just weird trade shows, and I've done this. I've gone to the farm show. We've done the farm show, but but before that, I used to go, or I would find some other industry, and I think, you know what, I'm just going to go visit their trade show, and I won't know anything about what's going on in that world, but I just want to see, and what could I do with that, or what could I take this and put it over here and use it in this whole different industry.
And then once you get into it, sometimes you discover you know more than you think you know.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
You might notice something that they're doing in some industry, and it's like, oh yeah, we do the same thing in my industry, but we just call it a different name.
Right. Yeah. And there's all kinds of. I think some of those are some places use the word technology transfer, but I want to have a whole new definition for it. Enough sub definition of taking one thing that's just commonplace in one industry and plugging it into another one and making it a whole new innovation. So
yeah, I think that's a big part of what inventing is.
Yeah.
So
cool. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's move on to the next item here. Let's see. This next one, let's see, I've got to do a little screen share again, is almost there, folks. All right, August 16th, 1890. Okay, we're really cranking the Wayback Machine back this time. The Census Bureau uses Herman Hollerith's tabulating machine. And so let me pull up the picture on this, because this is pretty cool. So apparently this must be Herman right here. And
It's like somebody who would have a tabulating machine.
you're right, doesn't he? So yeah, so the U.S. Census Bureau announces the U.S. population of 62 million. Can you imagine that? 62 million, determined for the first time by an automated method, the Hollerith census machine. The Hollerith census machine sorted returns by completing an electrical circuit wherever a hole existed in a punch card. So I guess this is the beginning of punch cards. And it could process almost 10 times the number of census data than a human clerk. So that's just wild. And this was, so he formed the tabulating machine company in 1896 after that, and company merged with two others and actually became what was eventually known as IBM.
I think most of us have heard of IBM.
Yeah, but you've never heard of what was this guy's name again? Hollerith?
Hollerith, which sounds like such a fictional name.
Yeah, it sounds like something made up in a
The shame they didn't catch on too. I like that more than computer, a tabulating machine.
yeah.
And this guy, what predated, Alan Turing and
Yeah.
what he did with the
Yeah.
like the Enigma machine,
Yeah, absolutely.
several years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, this was like less than 25 years after the Civil War.
right.
So 25 years after the Civil War,
Feel less.
This
Really,
guy
like
is
23 years. Something like that.
23 years after the Civil War, this guy is coming up with what I think of as a 1960s, because I think of 1960s as punch card computing.
Rippy.
That is wild. That is real low. So what current innovations you think right now are in their infancy and just way ahead of their time?
I mean, like everyone else, I've been very impressed with and scared, honestly, by the large language models.
Ah,
I knew that was going to be the first answer from
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
else, frankly.
AI, right?
Yeah, and it's it overnight changed the way that I do my work. So like I use ChatGPT daily in my engineering work. So I will ask it some some technical questions, and it can I guess I use it in the way that I would used to use Google. So I would ask a question of Google, and ChatGPT is often better at getting me a good answer than Google was.
It's more succinct.
So you are you kind of thinking of this as like a Google search on steroids if used right?
Well, that's how I'm using it now.
Yeah.
I guess, let me think. Yesterday I was doing some calculation for it's a diamond sensor that I've been working on.
Oh yeah.
I talked with Don about that earlier, but there was some leakage current that I was measuring, and it was kind of a complicated problem. And I just typed that question in to ChatGPT, and it took me, several minutes to formulate like a really precisely worded question, but it was able to run through all of those calculations for me. And so I didn't have to, I didn't have to break out my calculator, and didn't have to like relearn the different, formulas for resistivity over an area, and then surface volume, different things like that. It pulled it all out of its bank. But
wow.
But yeah, I think that's and for a lot of people, that's been the most crazy, shift, technological innovation that has happened in the last year.
I guess it's we just kind of don't know what they're going to be when they grow up yet. I mean, everybody will make predictions about, oh, it's going to be this, or it's going to be that, or it's going to download itself into all of Boston Dynamics robots and take over. But we really don't know. I mean, I think back to, just think of all the other things like, I don't know, Y2K would be, I guess, one of the easy things come to mind. We all thought airplanes were going to fall out of the sky, and they didn't. But the other things happened, and we did not, we weren't predicting. Yeah, we didn't see what was coming. So, but if we could figure out, you'd almost think that somebody somewhere predicted something right. But if if you knew that, if you really could foresee it that far in advance of, oh, well, this could become this and this and this, and use it, using it for good. Well, like you said, just like an augmented Google search kind of thing.
Like that's one, practical way that I've been using it. And I think, people across the world are finding
Different.
some, their own practical way of using it, tailored to whatever their field is or
Yep.
whatever their interest area is. Hopefully it'll get better, and people will use it in ways that are helpful for society.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried about the opposite of that.
Right.
People using it in ways that are bad for society.
We're seeing gunpowder get invented.
But that's that's
You're gonna
that's
see a lot of
how it is for for every innovation.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess the Oppenheimer movie came out recently, and I haven't gotten to see it yet.
I haven't
but
seen it yet either.
but I mean, I think we're all generally aware of the story, and it's like, oh well, this is a really neat scientific innovation that
Mhm.
happened. It turns out, well, it killed a bunch of people,
Yeah.
and maybe those who worked on it maybe turned to regret some of it. But
I think my favorite thing about AI at present is it takes a lot of the drudgery out of innovation. Like this is pretty recent. They actually had AI. In this case, it wasn't a language model, but they pretty much had it configure every conceivable protein fold that can exist.
Mm.
So proteins come in a variety of shapes. Figuring that out isn't hard, like intellectually, but it's time consuming. It's drudge work. It doesn't take a lot of creativity, and it's just difficult as the result. And now it's done that already, which means now we can actually make custom made proteins. So like, let's say somebody has a genetic mutation where they have a propensity to cancer because they have a misfolding protein. Now you don't have to worry about that. Now, one thing I was thinking about was mad cow. What causes mad cow?
Oh yeah,
Misfolded proteins. Now we might be able to actually cure prion diseases. So
that'd be wild.
yeah, and that's just from the first year of this being out and available. That's what's wild. So yeah.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. Because I had a ringside seat to that stuff when it was first coming out, and I knew somebody that was. I mean, we were selling products to the medical industry, and one of the people that a colleague I had was working closely with the Ames laboratory, who was doing just right on the cusp of that stuff, and that was the scariest stuff I had ever seen in my life. He said we actually took animals that had mad cow, we incinerated the cows, we put that into feed, and then we fed that to the other cows, and they got it. So that was like, okay, you can't kill this stuff.
Thing to take home here: cannibalism for inventing is great. Cannibalism in every other respect is.
Well, there was one thing you said that I really like when you use the word gunpowder. You said they've invented gunpowder.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, this, it's true in a lot of things, innovations or whatever. Sometimes I'll use this reference for like money, and I'll say money's a brick. You can throw it through a window, or you can use it to build a hospital. And AI could be the same thing. It's just it's kind of what they end up doing with it. But anyway,
Larry's.
Larry put if you got a comment or question, please put it in the chat. That's kind of how we're doing this meeting at this point tonight. So Nick, do you think there's anything that's kind of in its infancy right now? Anything that you can think of that's
Well, going back to what you were saying about recreating gunpowder, we've had this discussion with our board of directors and stuff too on the generator.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good that can come out of it, as far as keeping people's power going, dialysis machines, whatever,
Sure.
versus putting this thing on a drone, some kind of missile and flying it over your head for 6 months before you drop it. So we've thought about that,
drones that could run for 6 months. That is scary.
Yeah, just kind of staying up. You know what I mean? So I played around with that idea, thinking, what have we done here? But the responsible thing is to make sure that that you just keep it on the on the safe side, and then
Yeah.
everybody's, using it in the functionality that is meant, what it's meant for,
That's true.
And yeah, Larry does make a good point. He asked, try asking your favorite AI how to make black powder. And yeah, it's definitely being nerfed across the board. Like we're seeing more internal AIs, but we're also seeing like the big models getting deliberately kind of, I wish I could think of another word because I keep saying nerfed, but I can't think of a better word for it so that it
They're
can.
putting the guardrails up.
There we go. Putting the guardrails up. Yeah. Yeah. You ask it
And
to
sometimes the
something.
guardrails are a little bit too strong. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it makes it,
It's
less
kindergarten.
useful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not to mention misinformation being regurgitated, and that's also contaminating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Garbage in, garbage out.
There
That's
we
what
go.
they used to
Right.
say.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, let's move on to one last one here in the history category, because I've got some news items too I want to talk about. So on August 27th, 1959, twin brothers Norris and Ross McWhirter published the Guinness Book of World Records. So, and let me share a screen again, and we'll take a look at this. So this was kind of an interesting thing. They the inspiration, and I didn't know this, inspiration for the Guinness Book of World, and you might not think of this as an innovation, but it kind of is, because let me see if I can get this over to screen so everybody can see it. There we go. The Guinness Book of World Records, published in Great Britain. Inspiration traced back to a hunting trip. And so after failing to shoot a golden plover, I don't know what a
That's a
golden
new one
plover.
on me.
Okay, if Leo doesn't know what a golden plover is, nobody does. Beaver and the members of his hunting party debated whether the creature was Europe's fastest game bird.
Okay.
So no, and they were unable to locate a book with the answer. And so they were in a pub, and then they just thought that it would be cool if we came up with a book that would settle friendly disagreements. So this was the kind of the innovation, or the inspiration, I guess, behind the Guinness Book of World Records, which is just, I mean, everybody kind of thinks of it. Here's another thing. I didn't know it was 1951.
It feels like it's been around longer.
I would have thought this has been around like 100 years.
Yeah.
Or something. I really would have felt kind of like that was the case with it. But that so it kind of begs the question: Does your inspiration come from seemingly random events? Do random events sometimes where you get your best idea? Well, this kind of goes back to this whole shower idea of
Right. Interesting. I think it's perfect that literally a brewery, basically, like, it's associated with Guinness, because like most of the arguments that this book resolves are drinking arguments. Fastest animals and things like that. So, I make tallest person. But yeah, no, I think that everything we experience throughout our day and throughout our lives, they just sort of cobble together subconsciously, and quite often the most unexpected things will trigger the inspiration for something. It's like you were discussing it with a literal clock, like that, like a clock part. It makes sense logically, but if you asked another person to reverse engineer that experience, there's just no way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made the connection for you between the clock part and energy? Was it?
It was, I guess, seeing the mechanical energy dispel, and I thought it was a waste. You know what I mean? And I thought when you slow it down, it keeps time, but if you let it run its natural, depletion, what can you do with that? My mind's always kind of oriented toward, what happens if I do this, if then, it's kind of like language of Java, I guess. But I don't know, it just clicked, you know, when I seen it, 2 and 2, it just made sense. And I thought, wow, so we can capture this energy and reuse it instead of just letting it go to waste, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess the moral of the story then is to watch for those random events.
Pay
Watch,
attention,
yeah,
open
paying
mind, pay
attention
attention.
to what's going
Yeah,
on.
because it's out there. I told my wife one time, I said, you know, a caveman could have invented the lighter had he understood how to, Flint, and how to contain the properties of butane or something. Like, you know, it's always been here. It's been here since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
He just didn't know about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, you know, it's here. There's every idea that's ever going to come out is already here.
Right.
You know, we just have to find it and dig it out, you know, and put it together, you know.
And I think to take that even further, you know, oftentimes people will come up with an idea that is, you know, that has been come up with 100 different times by 100 different other people. But, you know, sometimes we just don't pursue an idea for some reason or another. And
Yeah.
it's just, you know, you stop and think like, oh, well, you know, how many things have we missed out on because someone just wasn't curious enough to pursue that, you know, that one idea they had that one time.
That's funny you should say that, because I was just talking to someone about this today, and it was we're talking about the radar range, which I think the some people may not even know that was an early name for the microwave oven. And the reason they called it a radar range was because a guy that was dealing with radar had a chocolate bar in his pocket. It melted because he was like working next to this thing. And but the funny thing when I was reading about it was that they said he wasn't the first to notice that. In other words, this happened to a bunch of people before, but they weren't paying attention. They're like, oh, look, I ruined my shirt. Oh, chocolate bar's all melted. But they didn't do anything. And this guy was like, oh, wait a minute. What if the other really cool part of that story is they were like experimenting after that with him and some colleagues, and they had like this kettle, and they were like putting the magnetron energy, whatever it is, into the kettle. And first thing they tried was popcorn. So they had the very first microwave popcorn, but the second thing they tried was an egg. And his coworkers were like looking down in the kettle, and the thing exploded in their face. So that's when they invented the box to put the microwave in. So yeah, I mean, it's stopping to ask why is that melting in my pocket? Not oh no, I ruined my shirt.
Excellent.
So all right, well, let's talk about some items in the news, shall we? Let's see. This next one I am going to pull up before I start talking about it, so no one's waiting. Let's get it going right there. So these designers at the designers sue this company called Sheen, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, for copyright infringement under racketeering laws. So I thought this
Racketeering laws like the mobsters.
So the RICO statute could help plaintiffs wrestle with e-commerce giants' unusual corporate structure and production strategy, experts say. So they kind of get down into it here, and they say lawsuit is brought on the civil portion of the racketeering law known as the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization, or RICO, per court documents. So I just thought this was interesting. So you had this company that was, obviously knocking somebody off. And, if you've been in this industry very long and work with a lot of inventors and entrepreneurs, you're going to see this. And this happens. I mean, if you get something that is really popular, I don't care if you're a big company or a small independent inventor, people are going to want to try to copy. Lazy people try to copy stuff. They really do. And I just thought it was interesting. This is probably the most creative way, because they're saying this is organized crime because you all are doing this and you're saying, yeah, well, we'll do it. Go sue us. And, there's nothing you can do about it. We're just going to copy you. And I just thought it was really interesting that that this is something that they're using to do that. So so do you think racketeer laws could be used? Will they be successful, you think?
I'm surprised it's not been used in more applications, because I mean, the main reason why they did that, if I remember right, is these mafia families, they would have fall guys that have people who, oh, you'll be in for, a short time, but when you get out, you're going to be like a celebrity. And so they'd have these people who would take the heat instead. And so they came up with RICO cases to go after everybody instead of just one person. And I will also admit that the only other thing I know about RICO is just from watching that Batman movie. But it makes sense that, these companies, they change their name, they change their staff. In this case, you could go after the whole snake and not just the tail. So I'm surprised, again, it's not been used in more things, because there's a lot of industries where you've got the same problem.
So if you could use it against the mob, you could use it against organized copycat.
There we go.
That's wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I say I have seen Batman. But yeah, I mean, I think if you have if you think you have a good legal case, then why not?
Yeah,
why not try it? So
I'd say use any and every lever at your disposal. It's just see if it's going to work. I mean, I guess the big question is, will it be an effective strategy?
Right. Yeah, I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
If I was one such ripoff artist, I'd be nervous at the very least if I saw that article.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm hoping at least it puts a little more fear in them. Oh, you can't get away with what you used to do. So, all right. Any other thoughts on that, folks? Will you think this will be an effective strategy?
Hope. Not so sure if I think, but I hope it is.
No. I guess time will tell the tale.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's move on to the next one here. Let's see. Let's move from mobsters to geeky gadgets. All right. Take a look at this. This is over here so we can see it. Having a screen size problem, folks. Sorry. There we go. So, Framework modular laptop maker announces new business portal. So this is a company called Framework, and I never heard of these guys before. It's a leading name in modular laptop design. So in other words, I don't know if you're building this yourself or if you just kind of name all the pieces you want and they put it together for you. I'm not too sure about that. But one of the standout features of Framework laptops is high level performance. So, they're not junk apparently, but leading edge processors. In addition, they come with a range of features. But I just found that it was really interesting. And I guess these guys have been around for a little while, but, here it is. One of the key selling points of Framework laptops is their ease of repair and maintenance. Framework has designed these devices with easy access to components like the battery, keyboard. So in other words, if you've got a bad part, you just trade it out, swap it out. Yeah.
Well, I think this ties into the right to repair debate that's been going on lately. I know it was big in the news with the John Deere tractors several months ago. We'll sell you this this $200,000 piece of farm equipment, but you can't work on it if it breaks. You're kind of at our mercy to repair it for you.
Void your warranty if you
right. And you can't work on it, else the warranty is voided. So it's just an ethical question of, well, is that right? Should John Deere be able to impose that? And I don't know. I guess that's up to where you land on the the political spectrum and capitalism and all that. But it raises a lot of good questions. I know it's also related to what Apple has gotten news from that recently too, with the European Union mandating USB-C on iPhones, and because the whole thing with Apple, is they want to create a good experience and like design everything from the top down and not give you any choices really, because because they know best.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of sneaking your own popcorn into the movie.
Oh. Way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to get it from us. And yeah, when now and I have an Apple lap. Most of you can't see it, but I have an Apple laptop laying right here in front of me, and this is kind of my workhorse. And the newest one came out, and yeah, it only uses those little UBC things. Well, guess what? And most of you can see, I've got like 4 adapters here because everything else
market is strong.
Yes, the adapter market has really helped that adapter market. So, yeah, I mean, is it, well, okay, let's look at it this way, about this. So you've got Apple and they say, no, I'm sorry, you can't change your own battery out because you'll void the warranty, and you have to come to our special magic place that's going to cost 4 times as much. And because believe me, I have been through that. And but what if you are like these framework guys and you're saying, okay, if you want to buy an Apple product, if you want to buy a John Deere, then buy a John Deere and have only their service representatives, only ones that can touch it. You can't touch it. But we've got this other brand over here. And guess what? We don't care. You want to change anything out. If you want to put a popcorn maker on the side, you can put a popcorn maker on the side. I mean,
I know who I give my money to. 100%. And what's my favorite thing about this, I think, is they've addressed the big 2 problems that laptops have compared to desktops. Desktops, you can replace anything, you can build it the way you want to build it.
True.
Laptop, you don't really have that customization capacity. Now all they need to do is address the fact that laptops run a lot hotter, and there's no argument for a desktop after that. So yeah, no, I really like that. I'm all on board for modular anything, but modular laptops, that's really cool. Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, desktops, I guess, still have their use.
Yeah.
Mostly
they're also they're more powerful, and they have the aesthetic look that you can't get from a laptop. So I get it.
But I've almost completely gone laptop.
Yeah, last desktop
really
I
have.
had, I think it was like 12, and I never looked back.
Oh, what do you think, Nick? You think build your own or an alternative, or everybody ought to be able to build their own?
You totally should build your own. I'm all about the modular world too. I got hooked up on the Adrenos build kits and stuff like that a long time ago. So to be able to build it yourself, I mean, the end goal for any company would be to sell parts. So whether you're John Deere or Framework, I mean, they're still selling parts. What I mean?
Yeah.
If something goes bad. So I heard this old guy tell me once before. He said there's what they call planned failure in these companies, and they'll purposely make a part that will fail so that they can sell you a part.
Oh yeah.
And so, but as far as it being modular like that and be able to switch out maybe the motherboard versus the fans, to cool it down quicker, whatever. I love that idea. I'm all on board for that.
Yeah. Or like the ink cartridges that digitally expire before it actually runs out of ink.
I got so fed up with that, I'm pen and paper now. Like I don't even use it. I still ran out. That's it.
So they digitally, I almost think
it's just a tactic to increase revenue, like get people to buy more.
That makes me think they ought to use the RICO laws now on the printer, folks. Okay, there's more ink in this.
What are you in for? Printer racketeering.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right, last news item. Let's take a look at this. This is this one comes from Science Daily, and it is, wait for it. So a new invention generates electricity out of thin air. Okay, this sounds like either they're punking me or it's a scam, but it says expand to show full article. Well, I don't want to do that. Renewable device could help mitigate. Let's see, where's the rest of this? There we go. There's the full article. We literally making electricity out of thin air. The AirGen generates clean energy 24/7. Okay, and how is it doing it?
Okay, so it's taking advantage of water vapor that's already in the air, and water, like the water molecule is a polar molecule. So
Yep.
if you can line up the molecules in a certain way, then you can create a voltage potential across it. And so they have the nanowires with electrode. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. I haven't read the article. I bet
But you
they.
glanced at it and immediately got the gist of
Yeah, I
it.
was gonna say,
Who knows?
Yeah, I haven't read the article, but I bet they've only produced a few nanoamps of current out of this thing. And
That's what I was wondering.
I mean, you see these kind of articles all the time with,
Sure.
oh, this, new method of
Chocolate.
energy or
slows
whatever.
heating,
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, a lot of times there's just insurmountable hurdles. And so it's like, yeah, it's a cool news story, but there's a billion other problems you have to solve first before it can, be useful to anyone on a daily basis.
So you can't use it to power your home,
Or it's like, yeah,
or you couldn't use it to power your laptop even, probably.
or I'm guessing, yeah, if you get enough of this material, which, I'm sure it costs $1 trillion to make, a sample that big. If you cover the entire state of Kentucky with it, then yeah, you might be able to power your home.
Right. Right. So this is one of those things where we've made this great discovery in the lab. That's completely impractical, and there's no way anybody can commercialize this.
Right, but I think it's important to do this kind of research. So
Yeah,
It's a challenge kind of thing.
could lead to other things. Yeah, no, absolutely.
but I think the important part is to not get sucked into the clickbaity,
Engineering by way of journalism.
Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Out of thin air.
And if you can get past that kind of thing, then
Yeah.
I mean, there's some cool stuff out there. But just be wary of what you read.
Right. Well, and it reminds me a lot of and this has just been I guess almost a hobby horse of mine, is graphene. I mean,
Single layer
I
carbon.
love the idea. I mean, they keep saying, oh, it's going to be the best thing ever. And nobody's been able to figure out how to mass produce it, though. They can produce it in real small amounts. It does some amazing things, apparently. But no one, and I thought whoever cracks that is going to be the next Andrew Carnegie, because if they can figure that out, how to cheaply mass produce it, I mean, it's just carbon, right?
Right.
Yeah, unless you have a thought on it, you might have.
Well,
you might
not
have
on that,
thought
but in a similar topic in the news lately, they recently there was a study that came out on a superconductor that has been made.
Oh yeah.
And I can't remember what the material was, but yeah, I mean, these researchers claimed that they were able to make a room temperature, ambient pressure superconductor, which, if true, would be, that would be huge.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see more about that, see where that
Right.
goes, see if if scientists are verifying the accuracy of this or what.
And can it be scaled? I guess
Right.
that's the
And
big
that's always
question.
the question.
Yeah. Can it be scaled?
Yeah. Same with the fusion reactors that have been in the news lately too.
Oh, they have.
Yeah, we've technically reached the point where, we're getting more energy out of it than we put in, with like 5 or 6 asterisks around there. But we're still, I don't know, decades away from massive achievements there. But I mean, I don't know, it's cool stuff. It's important to watch it. But like, I don't get my hopes up that it's going to be ready tomorrow, I guess.
Right. Well, and it kind of makes me wonder really about this kind of circles back to the whole AI discussion of there's been so much hype for an AI, and rightly so, because it's doing some amazing things. But I wonder, because everybody's like heard this, wow, this is like sci-fi stuff, that now it's kind of got the journalists going, oh, well, here, let's talk about this new thing like it's AI, or let's talk about fusion, and look, it's going to be just like AI. It's going to move just as fast. But
yeah, this piece of paper in front of me now with AI. Like, right. It's like, oh, investors, please just throw your money at this.
And that could be another thing. Maybe they're just, sometimes they push things out just if they're trying to raise money for research or trying to raise money for
That's concerning, because it kind of reminds me in the 2000s, there was a tech boom because everybody was investing in any tech company just on the grounds that it was a tech company. What's going to happen when, everybody says they have an AI that they're developing, or they're utilizing AI or incorporating an AI, and they get a bunch of gullible investors just on those grounds? It might lead to another
AI
bubble.
bubble. Wow. Yeah, that's
like
a possibility.
Hype is a great marketing strategy.
Yes. Whether it's energy or fusion or love.
Oh, you can hype anything.
Yeah.
And then we all have to pay the consequences.
No, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's move on here. Actually, we have is Eddie still with us?
I got it.
Where are you, Eddie? Oh, you got it? Got him fixed up? Good. Hey, Eddie.
Hello.
Eddie is our featured inventor this month. He is the, let me get this all fixed up right. Eddie is the inventor of the Rhino cart. And Eddie's been hanging around us for a while now, so we really appreciate that. And we've got a ringside seat to all of this really, really cool stuff that he's done, from just taking it from idea. I remember one of the very first videos you had of just kind of moving it across some gravel and getting it. I think it was a big washing machine loaded, and just like a real rough, grainy video to seeing you at the National Hardware Show with the big booth and all that. So anyway, Eddie, tell us just a little bit about who you are and the Rhino cart and a little bit of your story.
Okay, I'm the inventor of the Rhino cart. We've been to the hardware show several times. It's an all-terrain mover. It's got a 2,000 pound capacity, weighs a little less than 10 pounds. It's a lot easier for me to demonstrate it than it is to show it. So yeah, that's it right there. I don't know if we just found out. I just actually found out today that Lowe's, 100 Lowe's stores has ordered a display with actually a display of what I don't know. I don't see my picture up here, but are you all?
There you are.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Rhino cart all-terrain moving cart. It's the most rugged, all-purpose moving dolly on the market, and it's always ready for a challenge, no matter what you throw at it or on. Patented design and precision placement of 8 custom-built urethane wheels makes it easy for Rhino cart to take on virtually any hard surface and easily conquer thresholds, uneven surfaces, and even unplanned obstacles. It's built to be tough, It is made from the same type of hardened steel used in commercial applications. Together with a reinforced polyresin deck, Rhino cart is rated to carry 1,500 pounds. So go ahead and load up. Rhino cart can handle it. Telescoping frame allows you to easily move items from 6 inches to 46 inches wide. For even larger items, the sides can be completely separated, making moving oversized items a breeze. No matter what you're moving or what kind of surface you might encounter, the Rhino cart is ready to lighten the load. Proudly made in the USA.
I don't know. Can everybody see me at all? I mean, I can't.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm about to fix that right now.
Yeah.
There we
Man.
go.
Yeah. Me maximize my. I think we're linked, Don, somehow. I don't know how.
I think it's just a consequence of his starting and stopping shares.
Yeah.
Okay. I know when it when
Yeah.
it went live screen, it come up on my computer. I had to agree to do it. So I don't know if that was part of it or not. But
No
anyway,
worries.
would anybody like? I mean, can I do a demonstration?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Let me do a little bit of a demonstration here. It's easier for me to show than it is to do it right here.
Number one rule of storytelling: show, don't tell.
Right here's the 5-pack display. And as I said, this is what we just found out today, that Lowe's has ordered 100 Lowe's stores has ordered this 5-pack display.
Wow.
Congrats.
I'm going to move that over here out of the way. And
That's the thing that amazes me about it. Every time I see it, it's not just that it moves heavy stuff; it's the agility of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's you're moving big, heavy things. Like at the show, we saw you moving a washer or a dryer around like it weighed 4 pounds, maybe.
Yeah.
And going up the steps, that was
Right.
this weighs a little more than that. 975 pounds is what this weighs.
I
was that big safe.
think so. Gun safe buyers, by the way, big part of his market.
Yeah.
Moving companies too.
When you're moving something heavy like this, I'll usually put a piece of cardboard under it on one side, that way it doesn't damage anything. But I just kind of get it sized up and then tilt it, slide it under it like that. Then you can always go to the other side. It's pretty sturdy still yet. I mean, we're not doing anything yet. So you can just raise it right up on it.
Nice.
Wow.
I can handle it with one hand. I can take it wherever I want to go. I can turn it. I can move through stuff. And let me grab
It would normally take 4 people to try to move it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All
Oh,
yelling
yeah.
at each other too. No.
I mean, if you've got one of this safe, they usually charge about $1,000 to move it's usually between $750 and $1,000 to move a safe like this.
Mhm.
Wow.
So. You gotta be careful. And even at 1,000 pounds, let's see what it looks like when it rolls over some toilet paper.
This is full blown like
Yeah, we're
showmanship.
getting the.
This is the wow moment about to happen right here.
Hey, there it is.
Forget about locking the guns in the safe. We need a way to lock the safe to the house now. It's so easy to
Yeah. So
wheel it away.
that gives you that's benefits are really good. This is
That toilet paper wow moment is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Eddie.
that was fantastic. Never seen that before.
At 1,000 pounds, you know, it's not going to damage your floors. So that makes a big difference.
Of course.
I mean, because it takes them a while. They've got to lay down special boards and stuff. And this right here gives you a, I don't know if you can.
Size it up. Just drop it on the floor.
There's the houseware show.
Grease.
There's the dryer.
Yeah.
Just whipping that thing around.
Is that the hardware show, Eddie?
That's the hardware show. And I don't know if y'all can see it or not.
It was a little bit, there's a little bit of saturation, but still,
Yeah.
again, what amazes me the most is it's impressive that you're moving a heavy thing, but the agility and the precision of moving something that heavy. That's what makes it wild to me.
Tilt it. Slide it under it.
Yeah, I'm
Then
trying
you're ready to
to
go.
make it
Turn
where you can see it
Zero
better.
degrees.
No
Yep.
worries.
No problem.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's,
Turns on a dime, as I say.
Bananas.
Up from under it. Just as easy.
but
There's
that's,
your size
Was
it
that
up.
this year's show or last year's show, Eddie?
that's this year's show. Yeah.
Slide it
Oh,
up.
wow.
Yeah.
Then you're ready to go. Turn Z.
There is a, there was several of the, you know, the YouTube people and the people that come by, influencers is what they call them,
Mm-hmm.
that came by, and we done several videos for them. That was, or I done several videos for them.
This is an adjustable moving dolly named Rhino Cart. As you can see, it's easily adjustable from 6 inches all the way up to 46. It can be done in seconds. It can go over large elevation transitions like that, or even small transitions like a simple door threshold with ease. Plus, it can hold up to 2,000 pounds, and I'm going to get one of these and truly test it out. How would you like me to put this to the test and see how strong this cart really is? Let me know in the comment section.
Who's your influencer, Eddie?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Do you remember we had like 5 of them? There was
Wow.
5, yeah, there was 5 influencers. That video there had over 750,000 views.
Nice.
I had another one that had over 3 million views. And then the first video I showed you had 175,000 views. But we are, you know, just struggling along like everybody says. It's just, you know,
Overnight success, 10 years in the making.
it's a blink of an eye, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
So,
Eddie,
Eddie, what was your like original inspiration for this? Like, I mean, I know, you know, appliance dollies have been around for, you know, many years, but this is like a new take on that kind of thing. I guess, did you have some like bad experience with them in the past and like, you know, hey, I can probably make this better?
We install appliances, and I needed something that I could put on my truck that wasn't so bulky, big. So I made something, and I used to own a roller rink. So I thought,
Okay.
I'll try some inline wheels. And then anyway, we started experimenting with some expanding ones and some, you know, and I found out that it goes over gravel really well. It goes over grass. It goes, you know, now if you've got 1,000 pounds on it, you understand it's got to have a hard surface for something like that. But if you've got if you've got a couple of 100 pounds on it, you can just push it right over grass, right over gravel. You can walk it up things. I use it every day. So it's something that we use every day.
Exactly what we mean by diverse experiences and backgrounds. How many other people in the world have a background in roller rinks and moving appliances?
right.
He was the domain expert for this from the get-go.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So Eddie, what was the hardest part of this whole journey for you think? What was the toughest part?
I guess going through the patent process. We went through, making sure that our our patent was up to par, so that we
Mhm.
don't, that we didn't really get, of course, you're going to get knocked off. We've already been knocked off. But that trying to learn some of the legalese that the way they talk, which is not easy for me. But that's been and waiting, the wait.
Yeah.
Hurry up and wait,
Yeah.
hurry up and wait, yeah.
Yeah,
Patience,
absolutely.
yeah, we'll let you know, and and the it's just getting your hopes up. It's a roller coaster ride. It always is,
It always is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
especially when you.
Absolutely.
So
So what do you think helped you the most to get to the point that you're at now with it?
patience mainly. You have to be. You definitely do not want to be a crazy inventor. You don't want to be calling every day. You don't want to. You don't want to get aggressive. I ask, I'm asking, what can I do to make it better? What can I, I'm asking my licensee, what can I do to help? Is there anything I can do to help?
Oh, that's great.
So we go, that's what we do. We go out to the hardware show and we demonstrate it. He's trying to get us on HSN to go and do the demonstration there. And he's in Costco. We sent 1,000 to Canadian Costco, and we're in American Costco now. We're working a deal with American Costco now. So we're, I may be doing some demonstration there. It's one of those products. It's really hard. It's hard to see the benefit unless you demonstrate it.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean,
Well,
there's so many people, when we had a washer in a box, they said anybody can do that with an empty box. Well, it's a little harder for me to do it with an empty box because it really, doesn't have the weight to stay on it. I've got to have, it's easier to move 300 pounds than it is to move 50 pounds.
Right.
So
That's true.
it is, it really is with that product.
Wow.
So,
Wow. So now you're in, did you say are you in Lowe's now? Or you're about to
they
deliver to Lowe's?
placed an order here the last few days. They placed an order for 100 stores. What he said he done was we've got an Amazon account, and they said that they done a market research or whatever to see where clusters were at, where they were selling the most in certain areas, and they hit the lows that they were selling the most in.
Lowe's,
Oh.
Amazon, Walmart, that's
Yeah.
on shopping.
Wow. Nice.
So,
Nice.
and
Well,
then
cool, Eddie. So if somebody wants to buy a Rhino cart, where do they need to go?
they can go to our website, rhinocart.com.
RhinoCart.com. Real easy.
HomeDepot.com's got them. They can go to Amazon, of course. There's a slew of places that Great Northern, we're and hopefully your local candy store soon. I want them in every gas station to take.
Hey.
Bucky's might pick them up here soon.
Hey, that's a great idea.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many things to buy at Bucky's that you'd need that to put in your truck to begin
Yeah.
with.
That's true. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah. Let's get a fire pit. Oh, and while we're at it, we'll get something to move the fire pit.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, Eddie, we're cheering you on. We're really excited for you. Really excited for your recent win at Lowe's. And this is how it's done, folks. This is how you get from that just idea to actually doing it and seeing it out there. So let's let everybody give Eddie a hand, thumbs up. Just
Thanks,
Eddie,
guys.
we're proud of you, and we're really glad. Keep us posted, and I'll be looking for you in Lowe's.
Well, we hope it's one of the Lowe's close to you. I
All
want
right,
all the Lowe's.
works for me. It works for me. All right, very cool. Well, thank you, Eddie. We
Thank you
really
all.
appreciate it. So all right, well, that's almost we've got questions to answer here.
Anybody has any questions?
Are there any
either-
questions in the chat?
Here we go. Either put it in the chat, or if you are willing to be permanently on live stream, you could raise your hand, but be aware if you say something crazy.
Don't say something crazy.
Yeah.
You'll get in trouble.
We don't have an algorithm, but YouTube does.
Yeah, YouTube will come and get us and you. So anything in the chat? I thought I saw a question in the chat.
We answered some as we went along.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I think I saw anything that we didn't circle back to.
Ready?
Now, going back to the videography and stuff like that, does he recommend somebody that can do video shoots? Because that's what we'll be needing.
I can plug you into some folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we'll be needing that pretty soon.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, we'll hook you up. We'll hook you up.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
One-stop shop right here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
nice about these get-togethers. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions in the chat? Somebody else see? I see what everyone that works is getting for Christmas. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, good deal. And it's $160. Somebody asked how much it is.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's what I pay for my dolly, and it don't do all that.
Yeah, right. You're right.
Pay 5-6 times more to have something move too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
So,
pretty wild.
all right, folks. Well, any parting thoughts from anybody? Any last thoughts about tonight?
Words of encouragement, all of us that are inventors, it helps to have a positive encouragement. And so everybody that's out here that's watching right now, keep at it, man. I mean, you guys are doing a good job already. Like my
Absolutely.
patent attorney says, you're doing a mighty fine job,
Yeah.
and so just keep it up, man. We're just positive encouragement,
That's it. Exactly. Absolutely. Daniel, any?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just echo that. It's inventing and coming up with ideas like that and executing on it. And it's a long process, but the process is part of the fun.
Yeah.
And this can be a lifelong hobby, and or it can turn into successful businesses too. But either way, it can be just an enriching thing for your life. Sure.
Very cool.
But yeah, I mean, thanks Don for
Oh,
having
yeah.
us out.
Hey, thanks.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
been a lot of fun.
And if anybody's interested in Lexelon,
Yeah, Lexelon. Yeah, so if you need
Lexelon,
a
still
circuit board
mispronouncing it.
designed or apps and websites, that kind of thing, we do it all. So
all right,
give us
absolutely. And that's LEX
LEXCELON.
CELON. All right, good deal. All right. And Nick, if somebody's wanting to
Purchase some crickets.
purchase some crickets,
Anybody got pets that likes, we're feeding our chickens. That's kind of a new revenue for us. We're finding out some
Oh,
of these
really?
organic farmers that raise chickens actually.
I got neighbors that have chickens. Sometimes they get in the street, but that's all right.
It's a free range. So they might cross street every time,
I
but
know an influencer that you need to. He was actually at the KRE last time.
Oh, yeah?
Tarantula Collective.
oh, no, way.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. over there. Yeah,
Oh.
we're working the booth, so we don't get a
Sure.
chance to kind of get around and see what's out there. But but anybody wants crickets, hilltopcrickets.com.
Hilltop Cricket.
Hilltopcrickets.com is their website. So,
All right.
and they're all certified organic too. It
All
matters a lot to some people. Some people care less, but the organic crickets is
Sure.
healthier for your pets and
And they live longer.
live a lot longer. They survive travel when we ship them. Like, just recently we shipped to Texas. none of them died, you know, which is
Wow.
fantastic. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so.
that's some hardy crickets.
They really are. They really are, but it's nutrition, you know, they can survive more harsh environments if they have
Yep.
proper nutrition, we're finding out, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
that almost makes me want to buy some crickets, and I have absolutely no reason to buy crickets.
Not females, and you can put them by your bedside, and it sounds like. You know,
Well, there you go. I have a little box of crickets to sing me to sleep at night, right? All right, Leo, any parting thoughts? Anything?
Just dovetailing with what's been previously said, you've got to celebrate those wins. You don't have to
Yeah.
buy champagne every time something good happens, but you need to do something equivalent because it matters, you know? So when you reach a certain milestone, take note of that. Otherwise, it just seems like a struggle the whole time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, thank you all for being with us. Now for the big reveal, September 5th, we are going to have Grant Posner. Grant Posner has a company called 3D Musketeers. He's actually got a cool YouTube channel called 3D Musketeers. You want to learn anything and everything about 3D printing? Well, this guy kind of knows it. So set your calendars now and watch your email inboxes because there'll be some invites coming your way for September 5th. So anyway, I'm Don Skaggs, empoweredinventing.com, kyinventors.org. If you want to check us out and see all the resources we have there. And thank you for joining us for Inventor Friday. And we'll see all you members next week at the Inventors Workshop. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a great night.